Hi, John again from Artistry in Glass, talking today about the exciting subject of abstract contemporary stained glass. Now, abstract stained glass uses shapes, colours and lines to create designs that depart from a realistic depiction of the world. The designs may be partially figurative or totally abstract. They appeal very much to the sophisticated customer, and if they're designed expertly, they'll retain their exciting novelty and not become a cliché. Now, don't forget to click the subscribe button to learn more about artistry in glass. Now, what exactly is abstract stained glass? Take a look at these famous portraits to see how the visual arts evolved from figurative and highly realistic in the late 17th century on the top row to stylized and abstract in the late 19th to early 20th centuries below. The same trend from figurative to abstract is also seen in liturgical glass art. Medieval stained glass from the magnificent 12th and 13th century Gothic cathedrals feature figurative depictions of Bible scenes, such as those at Chartres. By the 19th century, stylized but still realistic images of saints characterized the neo-Gothic period. In post-World War II Germany, numerous churches were refurbished in abstract styles by artists like Wilhelm Buschelt. Notice that Christ is shown in a recumbent and inverted, cartoon-like form. Finally, a new trend towards the entirely abstract is represented by a late 20th century dalle de verre window. We will now summarize the techniques that can be used to change a figurative or realistic design into an abstract one. The idea is to surprise and delight the viewer, to introduce tension and uncertainty, to challenge the viewer to ponder the significance of the imagery. We'll go through the 8 examples shown in this list, starting with unexpected, non-realistic colors. Beginning with a realistic stained glass depiction of the Sonoran Desert, the design is abstracted by making some of the prickly pears an unnatural shade of amber and by the naive folk art depiction of the sun's rays. Finally, all natural colors are changed to create a semi-abstract saguaro scene. So the simple step of surprising the viewer by using surrealistic colors is enough to change the design from a cliché to an interesting work of art. Now let's take a look at how adjusting lead lines can create abstraction and extra interest. The lead line is the term used by glass artists to refer to the pattern of lines made by metal, could be lead, zinc or even brass, cane or solder that serves to hold the glass pieces together. Now, in early medieval panels, lead lines were often discordant, cross-cutting pictorial elements and serving only to hold the panel together. This compromising of the purity of design by necessary metal supports was frustrating to generations of stained glass artists, leading to the complaint, the tyranny of the lead line. By the 19th century, lead was always arranged to surround important elements like faces, but nevertheless still interrupted the visual imagery. As the art matured, skillful artists were able to integrate lead into a harmonious component of the design, for example, contributing to the flow of the feathers in this right-hand drawing. Early leaded glass panels were made with diamonds and rectangles and were called lead lights. These were ubiquitous in Elizabethan windows, mainly because primitive manufacturing techniques meant that the glass was only available in very small panes. Diamond grids thus became the accepted vocabulary of leaded glass right up to the 20th century. But now notice how completely new excitement is generated in the hands of German artist Johannes Schreiter as the rigid diamond grid is distorted and broken. A similar but more subtle effect is achieved by Wilhelm Buschelt, whose irregular circles and rectangles are drawn with a naive, childlike innocence. Okay, let's now take a look at one of the favourite methods of abstraction, is to take scenes from nature. And here's one of the most famous, a classic from the genius of Frank Lloyd Wright, in which he took the prairie sumac plant and made a highly abstracted, almost cubist representation for the famous Dana Thomas House in Springfield, Illinois. Now, many of our clients at Artistry in Glass have a strong preference for either straight or curved lines. Curves relax the mind, providing relief, softness and balance. They give a graceful, lyrical quality to interiors. In this example, simple leaves provide the inspiration for flowing abstract panels made from clear textured glass and installed as symmetrical mirror images in this interior doorway. The granite and water glass textured provide privacy for our customer's home office. Once again, drawing from nature, in these examples we use geology as our inspiration. In the first example, the famous rocks of the western US are the starting point. Playing with line and colour, the artist surprises the viewer with multicoloured and folded geological strata in an abstract cross-section through a Utah mountainside. Are the colours maybe a little too vibrant and brash? Possibly the symbolism departs too much from the realistic. You be the judge. I used my previous career as a geologist for abstract inspiration in this example, where a faulted section of strata, rather like the San Andreas fault system, imparts tension to the design. This is partly resolved by the stabilizing effect of the horizontal and vertical beveled glass lines. For the benefit of those interested in earth sciences, these represent igneous intrusions. Of special interest to neurologists is the way that the human eye and then the brain can extrapolate across considerable opaque gaps to follow design elements from the entryway sidelights across the central door panel. The distinction of this art is enhanced by the choice of top quality handmade glass from the Bullseye and Kokomo companies. On a practical level, we achieve the important customer request for privacy by sandblasting the originally transparent glass to give a frosted, private finish. Nature again, in this case nothing less than the universe, provides the inspiration for our next abstract example. Our customers are retired physics professors with a special interest in cosmology, and we take the Andromeda Galaxy as our starting point in the creation of this stunning stained glass window. Now let's take a look at the design and manufacturing process for this panel. First we come to your home and measure the openings. Then we draw a design with your cooperation to your specifications. Then the very exciting part of the process when you choose your favorite colors. In this case, a bright royal blue accent color which will be used sparingly. Then we were lucky enough to discover a mottled texture which closely resembles the cosmic microwave background. Now, in order not to compete with foreground colors, subdued textured glass was chosen for the balance of the window. In a stroke of good fortune, a sheet of antique glass was discovered in our collection that was an almost perfect rendering of a spiral galaxy. So we placed a blue, theoretically black hole at the center to complete the design. Of all the abstract movements, so-called hard-edge art is particularly well suited to stained glass, with strong primary colors and straight lead lines. This style was developed in California in the late 1950s, but drew upon the earlier iconic work of Dutch artist Piet Mondrian. Squares and rectangles give us a sense of stability and safety, while horizontal lines convey feelings of tranquility and a harmonious relationship with the earth. The skilled stained glass designer can draw inspiration from these famous works of art and create beautiful panels for the adventurous customer's home. Folk art can be a fertile source of ideas for stained glass, and in this example, a traditional Hopi kachina provides the inspiration for this minimalist glass art panel. An almost complete abstraction, the design hints at the kachina shape while mirroring the color scheme. The art glass is realized by attaching polished and beveled colored glass to a frosted glass substrate using UV activated adhesive. Now here's an interesting source of inspiration which celebrates the outstanding achievement of Dr. Tom Grogan, a University of Arizona physician who invented an innovative machine for the automated interpretation of tissue samples for cancer diagnosis. The original machine features a carousel arrangement of microscope slides that is duplicated in abstract form, with the slides represented by sparkling and beveled glass. This large panel is seen being examined by Artistry in Glass founder, yours truly, John Wakefield, back in the 1990s. Tom Grogan founded Ventana Medical Systems that merged with Swiss pharmaceutical giant Roche Holding in 2008. Now, in case you're wondering about the art quiz, here are the names of the figurative or realistic painters from the 1600s. First, Diego Velázquez, followed by Johannes Vermeer, and finally the amazing Rembrandt van Rijn. And now the very famous Impressionist or abstract artists, starting with Vincent van Gogh, followed by Henri Matisse, and finally Pablo Picasso. Now, only you, the customer, can decide whether you want a figurative or an abstract design. If you insist on a coyote howling at the moon, we could probably do it for you, but we will not enjoy it. So why not try an adventurous design, an abstract image, and avoid the cliché? Follow the links in the description below to get to information on our website. Artistry in Glass, abstract stained glass since 1986.